You were born at the exact moment the stars aligned a certain way. Someone looked at that, your chart, your birth time, your name, and said, "You'll struggle through your next 10 years." You didn't believe them at first, but over time, some things they said started to feel true. And slowly, you began to wonder if maybe they were right. Or at least, you found reasons to make their prediction seem reasonable. And once that happened, your story started bending toward that expectation. You braced for the struggle. You lived like it had already been decided. But one night, lying in the dark, you wondered, if the ending's already written, what's the point of all this living? If fate has the final word, why do I even get to choose anything? You see, in many traditions, from east to west, we've searched for signs in the stars, tracing birth charts and planetary alignments. In the scriptures, looking for verses that feel like answers. In the lines of our palms, wondering if that deep curve across your hand means a long love life, or if the break in your lifeline signals a sudden change or danger. A friend of mine once showed me his palm and said, "They told me this gap here means I'll have to restart my life in my 30s. He laughed when he said it, but months later he quit his job, left the city, and started over. Not because of the line, but because the story gave him permission. Permission to break free from a life he had outgrown, even if it didn't look broken on the outside. Permission to rewrite the narrative, to stop waiting for something bad to happen, and instead choose something better. That's the strange power of a story. It doesn't have to be true to shift something inside you. So the question is, was it destiny that made him do it? Or was he reshaping destiny himself? Was it written in the stars? Or written in the moment he chose to believe something new? Some say, God planned it all. "For I know the plans I have for you," says the Lord in Jeremiah 29:11. "Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a future and a hope." I knew someone who clung to that verse like a lifeline. She lost her job, her partner left, and her savings dried up in the same year. And yet, she wrote those words on a sticky note and stuck it on her bathroom mirror. She told me, "It doesn't feel true right now, but maybe it will one day." Sometimes faith isn't about knowing the plan. It's about choosing to believe there is one, even when you can't see it. That's comforting. Until life feels like it's unraveling. Until hope seems far, and the plan feels missing. She faced terrible circumstances, but she didn't give up. She kept believing that life still had something good ahead. Both of these stories don't have a final chapter yet. One followed what felt like fate's calling. The other pushed back and is fighting to write her own path, believing she can win. Let's wait and see which one will prove stronger. Philosophers have wrestled with this too. Kierkegaard believed that true faith doesn't begin in certainty, it begins in doubt. That when all signs go silent and every path feels unclear, that's when the choice to walk becomes sacred. He called it the leap of faith, not because it's blind, but because it's brave. Nietzsche said that if God is gone, then the old maps are gone too. That we are not abandoned, we are unshackled, free to write our own values, define our own worth, and shape a life with our own hands. He called it becoming, not receiving meaning, but forging it. And in the East, Lao Tzu offered a gentler wisdom, that life flows like water. That control is an illusion, and peace comes when we stop fighting the current. He who knows he has enough is truly rich. Maybe your path isn't to conquer the future, but to return fully to the moment you're already in. That knowing when enough is enough is true wealth. That maybe the most powerful life is not the loudest, but the one most in tune with what is. So what if it's not one or the other? What if life is a partnership between what you were given and what you decide to do with it? Maybe you weren't handed a script, but a stage. Maybe you weren't sent here to follow the plan, but to co-write it. Maybe God gave you a canvas, the stars, the date, the patterns, a rough sketch. But the brush, the color, the way you move your hand, that's yours. Because maybe God didn't write your fate to trap you. Maybe He wrote just enough to set you free, not to control your steps, but to awaken your choices. Not to predict who you are, but to invite you to become it. Even if the stars made the outline, you are still the one holding the pen.